WOVU LP, Cleveland.
This is Open Door with Vince Robinson. In-depth conversations with people who are making a difference in the lives of others here and around the world. Culture is at the heart of who you are. Know your culture, find yourself on Open Door with Vince Robinson.
Greetings and salutations. Vince Robinson here with another edition of Open Door with Vince Robinson. I have two guests this morning. They are both musicians and they are affiliated with a group, and that group is the Invisible Tongue. So I'd like to welcome to Open Door Robert Lashley and Be Free. Gentlemen, greetings, salutations. How you feeling this morning?
All good.
All right.
Excellent.
It's all good.
All right. So what brings us together is a video that I watched a few days ago that was shared with me by Brother Be Free. It was a video of the group. The lyrics were off the chain. The imagery was off the chain. It was absolutely something of substance, something that needs to be shared with our community. So I want to give you an opportunity to tell us about this great group that you're involved in and tell us what it's all about. So I think both of you are co-founders of this group. I am going to shift over to Robert and give him an opportunity to give us his synopsis of the Invisible Tongues.
Hey, everybody, how you doing? The Invisible Tongues is a group that, was put together with me, Alonzo Burnett, and Chester Starks. And I've been performing, I've been doing music ever since I was born, out the womb. My mom put a xylophone in front of me. I started playing the xylophone when I was very young. And then I moved to the piano probably when I was about 12 years old. I started playing that by ear, which actually she put me in some lessons, and that didn't work out because the teacher said I was too advanced to take the classes. So I just kept playing the piano by ear. But anyway, I have, been signed professionally to Gasoline Alley Records and MCA when I was in California after I got out the Navy, and, I was doing hip hop and R&B music. As a matter of fact, I had another well-known artist, Paris Escobedo. He played in a band with the band I was with in L.A., Raw Image. And, I came back here to Cleveland like in 95, and I started, searching around, finding people, musicians that were doing music in the greater Cleveland area. And, I got off into that scene for a minute, performing and doing shows with multiple bands, reggae bands and heavy metal bands, just all over the place. I'm very, have a very wide array of music that I do. But in my heart, there's always something in me that, that says that this music is to, unite everybody together, in a peaceful manner, and to raise the vibration of the atmosphere and to help take care of this earth that we live on, that God provided for us to be able to walk, stand, and breathe on. And a lot of the music that you hear right now on the radio today, it doesn't reflect that. And it's a total negative frequency that comes from that music. And then it, going across the airwaves, it's just, it's part of the disruption and chaos that we have here on Earth. So I wanted to get with a group of brothers that I prayed to be around, people that I prayed to, come and be on the same level that I'm on, the same frequency that I'm on, and then create beautiful music that's given to us from God, and be able to put that back out in the atmosphere and share our story of being able to reconnect, like the elders. I'm Native American, so I always go back, now I'm really paying attention to what the elders are saying to me now. About the third shaking of the earth coming, you know what I'm saying? About how we were disobedient and how we need to be obedient and take care of this creation of Mother Earth that God gave to us. So, you know, now, you know, the Invisible Tongues is formed, and we actually, you know, have a platform where we can reach the world with positive vibrations through our music. So, like every song and every piece of creation that is created by the Invisible Tongues, we go to the Creator first. Creator, we come to you and ask you to give us what you want us to put out into the atmosphere. Then we take that energy and put it into our instruments, and then we give it back to society. We give it back to civilization. You know what I'm saying? We give it back to the people. Something for them to be able to hold on to and be able to hug. You know, the world right now needs a big, big hug, man, because all of the chaos. You got the war going on, like for instance with Ukraine and Putin, and you know, and just that type of scenario. And that God did not create this earth for man to make weapons of mass destruction and destroy this very earth that we're given to walk and live and breathe on. So again, visible tongues. We're here just to simply, give a message of peace, love, unity, hope, understanding, all of that, in a divine way.
Okay. I've noticed Brother Be Free nodding his head as you've given this beautiful answer. And I got to ask you about the third shaking of the earth. But before I do that, I want to give him a chance to give us his version of how you all came together and what his vision for the group was. So, Brother Be Free, what's your version of the story?
Yes, sir. Well, it's pretty much what Brother Rob, gave out. It was like in a living room where he lived at, and we just started vibing together when I first met him. Actually, Robert told me that I was like a instructor of swimming for him, and I didn't know that because I might look younger than him, but actually old enough to almost be his dad. And that made me look at it a little differently because the Creator brought us back together at a different time, in different place, in different space. But we came up with the name because we wanted to be something obviously different. We wanted to say it a different way. We thought that once we came up with the name Invisible Tongues, it would just strike people a certain kind of way that it would catch them. And then that's usually what happens when we tell them the name of the group is Invisible Tongue. They have all kind of different responses once we give them that information. But as far as myself goes, I've been doing the culture drumming, African drumming, West African drumming, about 30 years plus. And I've did over 500 performances throughout the Cleveland area, throughout Ohio, and a little bit out of Ohio too. And right now I'm playing the doing samba and kinkani. I mess around with the djembe a little bit, but I'm expanding my knowledge to become a professional percussionist with doing stuff like the shaker behind me, to the cajon drum. So just to give you an idea of what's going on with me. But yeah, I love what I do. The drum has taken me all kind of places. I just had a performance with a group. Should I mention them? Sure. The Hugh people for the Warrensville Heights Black History Program in February. So I just enjoy what I do. It just strikes me to the core, like I just said. And I wouldn't rather be doing nothing else but maybe teaching Tai Chi.
Okay. Well, we're going to talk about the Tai Chi before the show ends, but I just want to dig a little bit into this great concept that you come up with. What was the idea behind the name Invisible Tongues?
The name Invisible Tongues, something I prayed on, and the name Invisible Tongues actually, the vibration that comes from that is producing or creating a music that speaks to you without words.
Okay.
So yeah, that's basically where that concept can speaking to you from. Well, let me say it like this: speaking to you from a spiritual standpoint. Being
okay.
music that lifts your that raises the vibration and takes you to a place of peacefulness and happiness without words.
Right. So
Just like jazz, just like a jazz artist, just like when you hear jazz music, it's the same thing. You can create so many different stories from hearing a jazz song. You can think of so many different beautiful expressions of life just from hearing the music.
Yeah, I just want to tell you how much I relate to what you said. I mean, there are times when I sit down at my piano and I don't have any words in my head, but I know that the music that I'm creating, the music that I'm playing in that moment is lifting me spiritually. And I think you can play music that is uplifting just based on the type of chords that you're playing, the scales that you might be playing in. You know, you got major, you got minor, you got augmented. You know, you've got different kinds of chords, and those different kinds of chords, they carry different kinds of energies. It could be a melancholy energy. It could be a happy energy. It could be something that will lift a person just by virtue of them hearing it and not necessarily having any words related to that. So the fact that you are creating this music and then you layer it with words and phrases and sentences that have profound meaning, that have profound depth, that have an ability to move people in terms of the way that they think. I'm getting that from what you're conveying musically.
Right.
Well, if I could chime in here, I feel if you think better, you act better, you be better, it makes the world a better place.
Okay. All right. So you dropped this phrase on us, and we got just a few moments before we go to our first break. But you mentioned the third shaking of the earth. Robert, I want to give you an opportunity to expound on exactly what that is, because I know that it is definitely something that is profound, and it's something that is taking place as we have this conversation. I think people need to know this because they may be missing the point, especially if they're tuned into conventional radio or if they're watching cable television and seeing all the madness that they fill our minds with on a daily basis, on a minute by minute basis, the very same things that they have us tuned into TikTok and Instagram and all these other social media devices that serve as distractions to keep us away from what's really happening on the face of this earth. I know that you brothers are talking about what's happening, and I know that you're offering people a different perspective, something that perhaps can edify that. And we want to take a deep dive into that when we come back. You're listening to Open Door on 95.9 FM WOVU. I'm speaking this morning with Robert Lashley. He's the founder of a group called The Invisible Tongues, as well as my brother, Be Free, another co-founder of The Invisible Tongues. And I'm going to tell a story about something that happened with me and brother Be Free a few years back. It was kind of a prank or something, but it was really kind of funny when you think about it. We're going to get back with more after this. 95.9 FM WOVU, Burton-Bell Carr Community Radio.
You already know what it is.
This is Artemis Carter with Youth Opportunities Unlimited.
What up? Hi, this is Brian Webster, the MyCom Regional Coordinator for Burton-Bell Carr Development. What up?
Hey, this is Camille Hurd of Fellow, for everyone's love of hair and beauty, the first and only social marketplace for all of your beauty needs.
What up?
This is Ben Golston
And Fred Ward.
What up?
Hi, this is Kimberly F. Brown.
What up?
Hi, this is Wanda Harris from Warrensville Heights, Ohio.
What up?
Hi, this is Ken Hawkins Jr. Keep it locked.
What up?
Hi, I'm Lindsay Sims.
What up?
Hey, this is Keisha Allen from Home Repair Resource Center.
Because you're checking out the hottest radio station, period.
Anything that you need, we got to hear at WOVU 95.9 FM. I am your music director, DJ Chris Towles. And thank you for listening to WOVU 95.9 FM.
Hi, this is Wanda Harris from Warrensville Heights, Ohio, and you're listening to the best radio station in Cleveland, WOVU 95.9 FM, Burton-Bell Carr Community Radio.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guests this morning are Robert Lashley and Be Free, co-founders of a group called The Invisible Tongues. They're making good noise here in Cleveland and around the world. They got a video up that's up on YouTube, and I'm going to share with you how you will be able to view that video and hear exactly what they're talking about, and even more importantly, how they are presenting that music. Welcome back to Open Door. When we took the break, we were just talking a little bit about how Invisible Tongues came together, what your concept was, and you expressed that the music, it exists on its own. It is capable of giving you edification just by virtue of the music, but you add to it the layer of the lyrical content. You have a mission with your music, and something propelled you into a space where you wanted to do something meaningful with music. Brother Robert, you talked about being out in California and performing with a lot of different groups and being kind of versatile in terms of the types of genres that you have been involved in, but you settled on this idea of doing edifying, conscious music. What pushed you in the direction of doing meaningful music versus a lot of the stuff that we're hearing on the radio airwaves today?
Well, being a part of some of that earlier music, with the gangster rap and things like that, I could do it and did it well, but it never sat right in my spirit. And as I started calling on to God, a lot of things that, I was doing in the world, and I saw that I had to fix that to let myself be what God created me to be, which is a humble divine being here to help raise the frequency of the atmosphere and take care of the earth and pass that message on. And so I started going back into my Native American roots too, as I also started, studying in the Bible and reading the Quran and every spiritual book that I could pick up. And but the one thing, because my grandmother and my grandfather, they always talked to me from a Native American standpoint. And, so I said, I need to go back there so I could hone into a part of me that I'm missing. And one thing, even right now, the Navajo, the Zuni, the Hopi, all of the tribes are in agreement. And they've always been in agreement of the prophecies that, were given to them. And, they'll talk to you about the shakings of the earth. And the first shaking of the earth was when Christopher Columbus came over here. And, they worked their magic and they did what they did, to disrupt, all of the peace and love that, our people had to give and offer them. The second shaking came in World War II. And they were advised again by Indian elders, hey, you need to take care of the earth. If you don't, do these things that, there will soon be dismay and destruction. And a lot of people will go into the Bible, and it's the same thing when they talk about the Revelation, the book of Revelation, and the second coming. And well, we're at that part right now, and the elders speak of it. They call it the third shaking of the earth. I'm writing a song about it right now called Lift Your Spirit. And if we don't take care of Mother Earth right now and raise the frequency of the atmosphere and help the children and teach them how to love this creation, we will have no creation.
Yeah, I want to embellish that, because when you talk about nature and you talk about our relationship to nature, sometimes we remove ourselves from that equation. But the key to successful life on this planet is living in harmony with nature. And we do so many things that are in the direct contradiction with that idea. It could be things as simple as when you eat, when you sleep, what you eat, and when you eat. Those are things that we don't really think about. We don't eat in relationship to the times when fruits and vegetables are available to us. We eat seedless watermelon all year round, not understanding that, no, you eat watermelon when it grows, producing seeds, and it's a real fruit because it has a seed that enables it to be reproduced. But when you eat a watermelon that has no seeds in it, you're eating something that essentially is sterile. Nature built in an ability to perpetuate itself.
Mhm.
That's why the apple has a seed. You eat the apple, you take the seeds out, you plant the seed, and you create a tree that's going to grow you more apples. But if you had an apple that had no seeds in it, what would be the future of trees and apples? There would be no future for it, you know. And I don't want to go too deeply into this rabbit hole, but we're actually approaching a place in the history of our civilization that they want to be able to create people without people. There's nothing more basic than a man and a woman coming together to create a child. And they want to take that natural occurrence out of the picture and start growing people with test tube and other devices that don't require. And there's a number of reasons why this is happening. I think it has a lot to do with the evolution of humanity and the place that man has taken in this paradigm. I think you alluded to it earlier in our conversation, but you know, man is stepping out of bounds for some reason. And I think it's part of your mission to keep people apprised of what we should be doing as opposed to what we are doing that might not be giving us the results that we would like to see. Brother Be Free, what are your observations about the direction that we're headed in terms of our disconnection with nature? And you being someone who practices Tai Chi, I think you really have your finger on the pulse of the importance of being connected with nature.
Well, the first thing, we got to go back to our creator, man. You got to submit to the creator. You got to embrace the creator first and foremost. Then we got to go to our ancestors. Okay, a lot of people don't even know what the word ancestor means. I've talked to high school graduates, they've never seen the word before. So what are they teaching the children? We got to save the children. We got to teach them well. We don't teach the children, what are we going to have? You know, so but doing about the Tai Chi, you have to have the yin and the yang, or the male and female, the soft and the hard. You know, you got to have it and know when to play it, know when to do it, because it all has a place. Just like we're sitting here, 3 men filled with testosterone, but guess what? We got some estrogen in us too. You know, we have to find that when we need it, because that's what your relaxation comes from. You should be at ease at all times, except when you have to use your manhood or musclehood or testosterone. You shouldn't be stressed out. You're talking about stress is the #1 killer. Well, those people don't know nothing about nothing, as far as I'm concerned. You know, I'm not stressed. What for? Don't need to be stressed. Here's another thing my great grandmother taught me: pray and get out the way. Real simple. Most of us do pray, but we wind up getting in the way by worrying about how it's going to happen. The how is the spiritual aspect of this. Another thing, we are all spirit, mind, and body. Most of us don't even know who we are. And also, we're also spirits and souls captivated in a body, having a physical experience. As my godfather would say, how about that?
Mm-hmm. Yes. And how about the connection between us and what we relate to as God? You know, so many times we separate ourselves from that, and we don't really fully comprehend the idea that, as you just said, we're God's having a human experience. Mm-hmm. But we've been told that there was really only one that did that, and that was 2,000 years ago. So we all focus on that, and we don't focus on what's actually going on within us right now and our ability to tap in the power that comes from that source that is exemplified in the things that we do. You know, you two participated in the creation of a group, right? Yes, so in that, you were and you are creators. You're making music, you know. Now, I relate to the idea of being a creator as well, because I create programs, I create songs, you know, I create photographs. Those things that I do, I don't do them without influence or connection to the creator, which is the creator of all things. So as, you know, as individual creators, we're co-creators with the ultimate creator, and that is the creator of everything that we know of and things that we don't know of yet that are within us waiting to be discovered. Fascinating conversation, brothers, and I'm glad that I was able to connect with you. We're going to talk a bit more about invisible tongues, and we're going to take a little dive into Tai Chi. I don't want that to go unnoticed because, you know, we got to connect with that. And I'm going to tell you, Brother Be Free, I started on a Tai Chi journey probably about 12 or 15 years ago. I took a few lessons. I was marveling at the fact that I could be moving so slowly and generating sweat on my body, because I'm not one of those folks who sweats easily. I'm doing these really small, minor movements, and I got sweat beads rolling down my back, and I'm like, there's something to this. So we want to take some of that and give it to our listening audience so that they can be edified by something besides the music and lyrics that we're talking about. We're really talking about the magical elixir that is our breath. We're going to talk more with Robert Lashley and Be Free, co-founders of The Invisible Tongues, when we come back. You're listening to Open Door with Vince Robinson on 95.9 FM, WOVU, Burton Belcar Community Radio. Back in a few.
You gotta listen, cause you gonna miss it. 95.9, those are the digits where you find good music, good conversation, good information. Number one station, taking over Cleveland, not just for the weekend. 24/7, day into the evening. We keep on feeding you, just keep eating solutions on the radio. That's what we be dealing. WOVU 95.9. Don't miss out, you better catch this vibe.
This is 95.9 FM, WOVU, a Burton Belcar community radio station.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guests this morning are Robert Lashley and Brother Be Free. I'm going to tell this story right quick, and we'll come back to the serious stuff that we were talking about. Once upon a time, I lived in an apartment building on Northmoreland Boulevard, right there, Shaker Heights, Cleveland. I think it's actually Cleveland, but for whatever reason, you know, it's in that zip code. But we had a landlord. I had a landlord. His name was Joe Randazzo. And at the time, there was this television show called Miami Vice. And this real good looking dude, his name was Philip Michael Thomas. He's still with us right now. But our brother, Be Free, had an amazing resemblance to Philip Michael Thomas. And one day, my landlord saw me and Brother Be Free having a conversation, and I introduced him, and he looked at him, and he's like, "Is that?" And he's like, "Yeah." So Be Free on that day passed for Philip Michael Thomas, and I never did tell Mr. Randazzo that no, that wasn't him. But I just look back at that memory in a very fond way. And just another quick sidebar. Be Free, I don't know that you know this, but that apartment building, Steve Harvey helped me move into it.
Okay.
Steve,
now let's move a little further. Steve Harvey and I went to Addison Junior High together.
Okay. All right. So we got a Steve Harvey connection. Steve and I were students at Kent State University back in the other century. And he stopped by my apartment. I was living on Superior in that high rise in East Cleveland, and I needed to get out of there. And so, you know, I used to hang out with Steve and another comedian friend of mine named AJ Jamal. And I don't know how it happened, but Steve was available. So I had the brother helping me move that couch up 2 flights of stairs, you know, and that was the beginning of my residence on Northmoreland. So I'm eternally grateful to him for that. He's probably forgotten about it, but I haven't.
Yes,
so let's get back to the serious subject matter at hand. We were talking about Tai Chi, and I didn't know that you were a practitioner. We haven't talked for quite some time, but I know that you're a serious brother, so it doesn't surprise me that you would be into something like that. So what brought you to Tai Chi, Brother Be Free?
Well, it was another brother that I learned it from up here at the Buddhist temple. And that's where I started 30 some years ago. And I still practice Tai Chi. And I still have a teacher that teaches me Tai Chi and other martial science aspects of life. We're going to talk about the breath, and I'll just give this to people so they can take it with them. If you could imagine that you have a feather beneath your nose and you're not moving the feather, breathing in and out, nothing else about your breath. Just soften your breath. I just call it soft breath. People call it other things. But if you soften your breath, I guarantee you'll transform yourself. You'll release stress. You'll be stress-free, literally stress-free. All human beings, the breath follows the mind and the body follows the breath. I'll say that again. The breath follows the mind and the body follows the breath. So the softer you breathe, the more calmer you breathe, the more relaxed you become. It's a natural phenomenon. And I teach it in my class. So if you get something other than this from this episode of Vince Robinson's Open Door, try to remember soft breath and practice it. I guarantee you'll transform yourself just by breathing properly.
Okay, so can you relate how to breathe and I know you just gave us a partial explanation, but how do you breathe softly?
You just imagine. You got to use your imagination, because breathing, I tell my students, you don't even think about breathing when somebody choking you. You don't think about it. Immediately you start thinking about it, someone starts choking. But if you, like I said, the breath follows the mind and the body follows the breath. So if you soften your breath with your mind as if you got a feather beneath your nose, imagine you have a feather beneath your nose and you're not moving the feather, breathing in or out. It's just that simple. And in the society we live in, simple ain't what's up. If it ain't difficult, people don't believe it's worthwhile. But our Creator made life simple, made life extremely simple. Think about it. Most of in your life are caused by other human beings and make it difficult. It's just that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm. So what about the actual performance of Tai Chi? What is involved in learning all of those movements? Because I know there are quite a number, and I think that there are like 4 different categories of movement, though. So once you can learn what those 4 categories are and you can kind of put them together and assemble them in your mind, it helps you navigate the movements.
Well, from my perspective, I'm one of those teachers. They call me a universal teacher. I'm going to tell you, I don't know the names. I don't know the names of them. I just know how to do them. So I can show you what to do and tell you how to do it, and then ask you to practice it accordingly. But I'm just not one of those people. I'm not concerned about it, because 100 years from now, something called man shuffling marbles will be called something else, because people change things. So that's from that perspective. I'm just the way that I am. I'd rather teach you the movements, teach you what they're for, and just to get back to the sweating aspect. A lot of your Tai Chi movements, you're turning from side to side. You're actually massaging your internal organs, which there are very few exercises that do that. While massaging your internal organs, you're creating heat internally, and you're relaxing yourself and rejuvenating yourself, and giving yourself life. So that's another reason why I love Tai Chi, because you rejuvenate yourself. And then another thing about Tai Chi, you be thinking about 4 or 5 things at the same time. You have to think, you have to focus and be alert while you're doing the Tai Chi. And also, moving slowly, it's harder to move slowly. Anybody can move fast and not think about what they're doing. When you move slow and you think about what you're doing, you have to focus, have concentration, and be alert.
Yeah. So when I see imagery of folks who are practicing Tai Chi, one of the things that I notice is that many times they are elders. I don't really generally see a lot of young folks practicing Tai Chi, but when you look at the elders and they're practicing Tai Chi, you notice how well they are able to move. This is a side note, but a few weeks ago, I actually attended a Qigong summit that was online, and you had all these practitioners, and a few of them were practitioners that were kind of up in age, but I noticed how spry they were. I noticed how well they moved. They weren't bent over and broken down and, all discombobulated. It's like, wow, this is a 70-something-year-old person that looks like, if we got into a fight, they could hold their own. What is it about this practice that enables people to be up in age and to be so limber?
Well, one of the things I would imagine that they've been doing Tai Chi all their life or for a long period of time. Not that meaning that you can't start Tai Chi at 60, 70 years old and then do what they do. But they've been moving all their life. See, we need to move. That's what spirit, mind, and body. A lot of us in America, they say we're one of the laziest industrial nations on the planet. We just don't move. We're sedentary. That's causing a lot of problems. It's not normal for the body to be still. Like us sitting still right here, it's not normal for it to sit for long periods of time. Like say, for instance, driving a truck. It's not normal for you to sit in the truck for 10 or 12 hours. It's not normal for you to sit at a computer for 10 or 12 hours. Let's get carpal tunnel syndrome. It's just not normal. Our Creator created us to spirit, mind, and body. Spirit, mind, and body. And you must move your body. It's just like, say, for instance, with a car. If you let a car sit out for a year, 2 years without movement, rust will take over. Well, guess what? It's called atrophy. It's called atrophy with human beings. Think even when you go to bed at night, your muscles atrophy. That's why you got to get up and start doing something. And Tai Chi, you're moving slowly. You can do it till you're 100 years old or older. You don't move fast. But when you actually have to hurt someone, did I say that? Yeah, I did. Tai Chi is a martial art. Most of your, I'll call them warm-ups or exercises, have a martial art aspect to them. You don't know that until someone like me tells you that. But it's true. So I just think most people that are doing the Tai Chi have been doing it for a while, and they just keep moving.
Yeah. And with respect to it being a martial art, what I have been told, and I could be wrong about this, but I'm just repeating something that I heard along this journey. Tai Chi is one of those martial arts that is really more of a defensive type mode than it is an offensive type mode. So as I understand it, you're just basically redirecting energy that's coming towards you so that you're not injured.
It's according to how you think. See, I'm one of them. I'm going to get you before you get me. I'm not waiting. I'm not a counterpuncher. I'm not saying that's not a great thing to be, because one of my greatest instructors, he's a counterpuncher. He waits till you do what you do. But see, I'm not like this. See, I don't want to get hit. I don't want to get touched. None of that stuff. Because if the right person knows what they're doing, they hit you one time, they're going to kill you.
Right.
That's simple. So I'm not against anyone and how they perceive life, period. But like I said, I don't want to get hit at all. And I just want to be the first one. Like I said, I got an instructor now. As soon as you move, and I feel, first of all, if the Creator tells me something's going on, first of all, I'm going to try to get away from that. I'm going to try to get away from that energy. But if I'm forced to a situation where I'm going to fall off the cliff, I guarantee you I will be one of the last ones standing.
Yes. Well, I can tell you this, taking your class sounds like a good idea. Perhaps if I was an early morning person, I could be there at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And maybe that's something that needs to change. But we're going to definitely encourage folks to take your class. And as we said before, it takes place at 9 a.m. on Saturday mornings, 5000 Mayfield Road. And you can check out that class. Just show up, and you can pay what the entry fee is. We can't talk about that on the air, but it's a small price to pay for excellent health. We are on Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guests are Be Free and Robert Lashley, co-founders of The Invisible Tongue. We'll be right back right here on 95.9 FM WOVU.
WOVU 95.9 FM, we are here for the community. It's called Our Voices United. We are united to give you all the information from sports, music, gospel, mental health, financial literacy, anything that you need, we got to hear at WOVU 95.9 FM. Don't forget to download our app right now. Go to your mobile app store, download WOVU. Put it on your phone. These are one of the reasons why you need to listen to us. We are the community. We're for the community. I am your music director, DJ Chris Towles. And thank you for listening to WOVU 95.9 FM.
Welcome back to Open Door with Vince Robinson. My guests this morning are Brother Be Free, Brother Robert Lashley, both co-founders of a fantastic group called the Invisible Tongues, making meaningful music. They're starting a movement. They're moving the movement, and they are liberating minds from the dogma and the quagmires of all this garbage that's out there, social media and radio and television. Somebody got to be saying something that means something, and these folks are doing it, and we definitely commend you for doing so. What are some of the projects that you're working on at present? What are you moving towards? And I'll direct this to Brother Robert.
Earlier, and I didn't touch that. I wanted to touch on that real fast. You talked about Fast Lane song that we just released, and I wrote that song primarily. I wrote all of that song, and my queen, she wrote the last verse. I'm teaching her how to songwrite, and the theory from the song was basically like, brothers and sisters in world, slow down, take time, and evaluate everything that's happening in your present and everything that's happening around you, so you can catch back up with reality for real. So that's why I wrote the song Fast Lane. Even me, I had to slow myself down. I was moving so fast and over here and over there and hey, popping up and and I had to say, hold up, brother, you need to really absorb the atmosphere, So that's how Fast Lane came up. I just wanted to touch on that because I had talked about it. But some of the newer songs that I'm working on, like Lift Your Spirit, everything has a connection to God and the universe and the atmosphere that we're writing right now. Better Way. We have another song that I just released. Better Way is doing real good. And it's another thing about Better Way is just letting people know, hey, here's my big hug. Here's our big hug from the Invisible Tongues to the world. And go back and take that hug and hug somebody else with it. And you'll find out, like if you just calm down, as Zoe was talking about the Tai Chi, if you just calm down and allow yourself to absorb all of this beautiful creation and Mother Nature around you, you will begin to find the joy that you're looking for. Joy don't come from money. Joy don't come from none of this material stuff that you want. I tell people this because a lot of times when I get so full of joy from this creation and from the knowledge and wisdom that God has given me, that I shed tears of joy. And people say, oh man, you don't have to cry. And you don't have, oh man, you look at you 6'5", man, and you crying. And I look at them and I say, brother, these not no tears, these not no sorrowful tears, these are tears of joy. And it made me realize that most people have not experienced true joy, because for you to humbly be able to be thankful for what God has given to you, and it filled you up with so much joy that it brought tears to the tear ducts. And that's what your tear ducts are for, men and women. I don't know, you so big and bad. God gave you those tear ducts so you can release.
That's right.
It's a release.
That's right.
And you can release it in a sorrowful way, or you can release it in the most joyful way. I mean, I can't even describe it to you other than it's just, it's overwhelming, like sunlight in your eyes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but that kind of threw me because I go there. Like even now, I'm spiritual with the people right now. Because I before I got on the air, me and God got together first. And I said, God, give me the words and give me what you want. Like Moses, they talk about Moses in the Bible. I don't know what I'm gonna say, Lord, but I know that you're gonna give me something edifying and something pure to say to the people. So we have a song that we are releasing anyway called Star People. And again, that's just talking about all of the beings in the universes. We're not the only beings here in this vast creation. I came here as an indigo child. So people can look that up later. I won't get deep into it. But I was allowed as a child to leave my body at night. So my parents thought they would put me to bed at night. But I was putting my head up under the pillow and slowing my breathing down. Listen to what Brother Zoe said earlier. would slow my breathing down. This is how I realized I could slow my breathing down all the way until I almost wasn't even breathing. And then my spirit would leave my body and I would go wherever I wanted to go, wherever I knew to go. And there was a voice that would be with me that would guide me and would say, yeah, you go there. You can go there and look what's over there. And I would, you know, when you're in your spiritual body, it's not like being in this body. You know, it's like you have a God's perspective on things. So you just like are over everything. You glide wherever you want to go. You're not walking. You just, you know, in your mind, you tell yourself what you want to do. And that God voice, from the time we are born, that voice is with us. And as life goes on, we choose not to hear that voice, but it's always right there. That would be the voice that would guide me, that would get me back into my body. Like the voice used to tell me when I first ventured out, I was very, very young. It said, don't go into the darkness, because if you go into that darkness, because how we see things in 3D right now. When you're in that God's view, you see things almost like a TV show. You know what I'm saying? And so there's the visual right in front of you, but right around all that visual, there's just the darkness around there. And so if you go into that darkness, you might not be able to make it back into your body. So that was one of my first lessons, you know, and I always, for a long time, listened to that voice. And it got to a point in life, just from the influences of life, I want everybody to listen to this, that you stop listening to that voice. Mm-hmm. And you start doing your own thing. Mm-hmm. You start being disobedient. Mm-hmm. But that voice is, even when you do something wrong right now, that voice is sitting back there talking, and it tells you, man, I shouldn't have did that. And you sometimes you even say it. You say, man, I shouldn't have did that. And man, I was telling myself, that God voice was telling me. So you know, go back and start learning how to listen to that voice. And I want to share this since I'm on the air. I don't really share it with a lot of people. But the last place I went before I was not able to use this gift anymore, I took myself to the moon. I said, because I knew I could go and do these things as a child. So I said, where am I going to go? And I would look around, and I was about 4 years old, and I looked up at the sky, and I said, I'm going to the moon. I said, tonight when I go home, I'm going to go to the moon. So I got home that night, and I almost went to sleep, and I remembered, I said, no, man, you're supposed to go to the moon tonight. So I just went, put my head under the pillow, started breathing, slow my breathing down, bam, then I'm in my spiritual body. And I went to the moon, and they've already been there. They've already been there. There was buildings up there, and it's a lot of things I'm not going to talk about right now, because I think it might start a lot of controversy if I do. But so, you know, I've had different experiences through my life, different spiritual experiences. I've been lifted up in the bed by different, you know, spirits and entities. And I had a near-death experience where I was sent back here, and I got a blog about it. You know, if you go to Preacher Man Lash on Instagram, the vlog is there, you know, about my near-death experience. So I've been out of my body a few times, and I know that this is just a temporary thing that's going on right now, and that you will go back, or you will just exist back into your spiritual body. When you hear about that you have angels with you, you do. We do. We got 2 angels with us. As soon as you go into that spiritual body, those angels appear, and they're there to comfort you and guide you. And so part of, you know, the projects and the stuff that I work on, it comes from these experiences that I've had, these spiritual, these outer body experiences. And, you know, and then going back and listen to the elders and being told that, hey, you're a messenger. You're not just supposed to create that music. God gave you that gift to pass the message on. So that's what I'm doing. I'm passing the message on. So I go to the elders, I get the messages, I go to God, I get the messages, and I divinely pass those messages on to civilization.
That's really, really interesting, Robert, because as you were just giving us what you just gave us, I was wondering what the basis of your spirituality was. You talked about reading the Bible, reading the Quran, you know, all those different lanes that you traveled that led you to where you are right now. But then you talk about being 4 years old and having this understanding of how you could use your breath to transport you basically to anywhere in the universe that you wanted to go. And many people don't realize how spiritually in tune young people are. You know, as I understand it, what happens is we kind of get socialized away from our connection, our, you know, that spiritual connection that we have. And so when we have conversations like this, sometimes people think, oh, that person is crazy.
That's right. That's right.
You know, but in all actuality, that person is more in tune with the other side than you are. And, you know, we talked earlier in the show about the distractions that we have, and those distractions serve as a means of keeping us away from our spiritual connection. So, you know, I think someone mentioned that the importance of prayer. You talk about breath. We're talking about the importance of meditation. And one of the things that meditation can do for you, particularly when you slow your breath down, is it enables you to get into a place where you're in a trance state. And when you're in that trance state, your spirit is more receptive to the suggestions that you can make to it to connect you with that source and to empower you to do the things that you envision with your imagination. Brother Be Free, could you talk a little bit about the power of imagination, the relationship of meditation and breath to empowerment?
Well, in my classes, I put meditation in my classes. I didn't learn meditation from my instructors. I learned it from going to a particular church that I was going to where I met my wife. But the meditation is so important for you to be still. Now, get back, we're going to relate to, I'm going to segue over to what Robert was talking about. See, the Creator will always speak to you. It will always do like this. It will always knock on the door of your brain. But see, the one thing the Creator will not do is make you listen. Because this is my little perception of it. We're human beings who have the power of choice. Our Creator will not take the power of choice from you. You can decide you want to go left, go right, you want to listen, you don't want to listen. But like Robert said, that's something I always say. Something told me that you can call it, I hope I don't step on nobody's toes, Jesus, Buddha, Allah, Old Damara, you call it the light, you call it beyond, infinite, you call it whatever you want to call it. It's, to me, as long as you recognize it's something greater than you, something greater than what you see. They call it, in the ancient time, they call it the hidden one. You know what I'm saying? So meditation is so powerful. The imagination, I teach my students, I take them through the divine light while they're in class for about 5 minutes. Sometimes I'm literally telling you, Vince, they do not want to come back. They feel so good, they don't want to come back to this reality. They literally don't. And I love that because they went there. Wherever they went, I don't ask them in class, how do you feel? I know that you was right here and you went from here, now you're over here. You're not in the same place. That's all that matters to me. Okay, yes. So it matters that you take time to be still and listen. And listen. That's what we don't do anymore. Well, like you said, we listen to the wrong thing. That's why we listen to the wrong thing. You know, we listen, I guess, externally and not internally. I might call it the internal voice, or your invisible intelligence, your indwelling intelligence. You know, we used to call it, remember this, Vince? Common sense.
Right.
that's what we used to call it, common sense.
Yeah, it's something that seems to be in such rare supply these days because some things make so much sense. They make too much sense for people to even think about doing the right thing. Right. Brothers, this hour has just flown by. Unfortunately, we run out of time. I'm going to take another moment to remind folks that they can take advantage of Brother Be Free's Tai Chi classes at the Hillcrest YMCA Saturday mornings at 9 a.m., 5000 Mayfield Road. You can get in there, show up, you know, and just have a few bucks. It'll be worth it for you, but have a few bucks. Not a lot. It's just a few. We're not going to say how much it is, but trust me, it's worth it. So check him out Saturdays at 11 at the Hillcrest Y. Much success to you, brothers. I'm going to take a few moments and try to drop a few bars of your song on this broadcast before it's all done. So thanks for joining me on Open Door.
Hey, thank you, Brother Vince, man. One love, man.
Likewise. Also, thank you to those of you who are listening and watching us on YouTube. Know yourself, love yourself, be yourself, make today your best day. Peace.
Right.